Hello, this is Ron Paul with your weekly update for Monday, April 5th. Why is the Biden administration pushing Ukraine to attack Russia? On March 24th, Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky signed what was essentially a declaration of war on Russia. In the document titled Presidential Decree Number 117, 2021, the US-backed Ukrainian leader declared that it is the official policy of Ukraine to take back Crimea from Russia. The declaration that Ukraine would take back Crimea from Russia also followed and was perhaps instigated by President Biden's inflammatory and foolish statement that Crimea is Ukraine. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who was a chief architect of the US-backed coup against Ukraine in 2014, continued egging on the Ukrainians, promising full U.S. support for the territorial integrity of Ukraine. Many Americans wonder why they are not even half as concerned about the territorial integrity of the United States. Not to be outdone, at the beginning of this month, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, who previously served on the board of missile maker Raytheon, called his counterpart in Ukraine and promised unwavering U.S. support for Ukraine's sovereignty. As the U.S. considers Crimea to be Ukrainian territory, this is clearly a clear green light for Kiev to take military action. Washington is also sending in weapons. Some 300 tons of new weapons have arrived in the past weeks, and more is on the way. As could be expected, Moscow has responded to Zelensky's decree and to the increasing bellicose rhetoric in Kiev, and Washington by repositioning troops and other military assets closer to its border with Ukraine. Does anyone doubt that if the U.S. were in the same situation, for example, if China installed a hostile and aggressive government in Mexico, the Pentagon might move troops in a similar manner? But according to the media branch of the U.S. military-industrial congressional media complex, Russian troops movements are not a response to clear threat from a neighbor, but instead are just more Russian aggression. The unhinged U.S. experts behind the 2014 coup against the elected Ukrainian president are back in power, and they are determined to finish the job, even if it means World War III. The explicit U.S. backing of Ukraine's military ambitions in the region are a blank check to Kiev. But it is a check that Kiev would be wise not to avoid cashing. Back in 1956, the U.S. government pumped endless propaganda into Hungary's promising military backing for an uprising against the Soviet occupiers. When the Hungarians, believing Washington's lie, did rise up, they found themselves all alone and facing Soviet retaliation. Despite the cruel U.S. propaganda, at least Eisenhower was wise enough to realize that no one would be benefiting from a nuclear war over Budapest. Why is it that it's any of our business whether Crimea is part of Ukraine or part of Russia? Why is it any of our business that the Russian-speaking population of eastern Ukraine prefer being aligned with Russia? Why, for that matter, are unproven allegations of Russian meddling in our elections a violation of the rules-based international order, but an actual U.S.-backed coup against an elected Ukrainian government is not? We are seeing foreign policy made by Raytheon and the other U.S. military contractors through cutouts in the government like Austin and other feckless U.S. foreign policy experts.